Welcome back to the Trailkings podcast. Today is a new episode, and we're going to be talking about seatbelts in youth machines. Make sure you stick around for the end for the nonsense that we have to offer. As always, please show your support by hitting the subscribe button and clicking the bell icon to turn on notifications. All right, so seatbelts in youth machines. This is frustrating for me because it's the amount of money we spend on these damn things. But I'll let you start with this, Doug. Seatbelts in youth machines. Your thoughts?
My thoughts. Well, obviously they come with, the ones we have come with just a regular 3-point click seatbelt.
Yeah. I guess let's touch base on that. What youth machines are out there? The ones we found is you got the Polaris Rzr,
Yep. The
Ranger,
150,
and the Ace.
Yep.
It's all made by the same company.
And then you have High Sun, Strike, and
Yep.
Sector, I think is the other one.
Yep. Strike and Sector. So those are both off brands.
Yeah.
And when I say youth machines, we're talking about 250 and below. We're not talking about, a 570 or something like that. We're talking about a true built for a youth machine that has, someone under 16 that can drive the machine. So,
right. So yeah, I think all of those come with just regular seatbelts.
3-point harness.
3-point harnesses, yeah. So, and that's on my machine, my adult machine, the Pro XP now, I've got, is it Click 6, I think is what they're called, the factory, multi-point harnesses. They're better than 3-point.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad they come with them. I'm glad, like the driver's seat, you can't mash on it and go somewhere if it's not clicked and all that.
Yeah.
But I do feel like we're going to have to upgrade them because why do we have in our machines, and then my kids get in their machines, I'm like, oh, you're okay, don't worry about it.
Yeah, you're less valuable.
Yeah, you don't need a helmet, you don't need a cage, take your cage off, it's gonna be lighter. So it's just something that we're gonna just have to do, and we've done some other things to it, and now that's gonna be the next step, is putting in a 4-point harness for them.
So obviously it didn't keep you from buying the machine. You bought it.
No, of course not. Yeah. To be fair, we bought 4-wheelers before that, so
True.
Clearly we're willing to let them ride things that don't have a seatbelt on them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you have something like that can truly hold somebody in on a rollover, they're faster now, and they're getting a little crazier on the machines.
Well, that's my problem with it. And if 4-wheeler go do a donut, it's going to fling you off and usually away from it, right?
From it,
so, there's no harness restraint for those things. But I guess the frustrating thing for me, it is a youth machine with. Now my kids are experienced, so I'm not as worried about it. But you have inexperienced drivers. It doesn't. I can't foresee it being that much greater of a cost.
Yeah.
To put 4 points
Put them in there,
man. Like,
right.
Are you kidding me?
All right.
It's 4 points of contact. Make it super easy on them. And now you got something that you don't have to spend the money to upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
And from the first moment they get in it, boom, they're latched in.
Yeah.
Outside of slide underneath it because it's not a 5-point. But I'm fine with that. I'll run that risk. You tighten that sucker tight enough on their hips.
Right.
They're not going to slide out.
Well, and if you're willing to pay, what are they? The MSRP $6,400 for it. You're willing to pay $6,800 for it with 4-point harnesses. Clearly the money for these side by sides isn't keeping people from buying them. So
Exactly. It's $100. I guess that's per harness, so $200. Yeah. But that's just, it's frustrating for me. The amount of money we put in these things. And then if they were designed with 4-point harnesses, you wouldn't have to go buy a harness bar.
I say that's just the harness you have to get. It's the other stuff too.
You'd have the harness bar. Like, it would already be set up, which you already have a brace going back behind the Rzr the Rzr 200 that they could lower in a way to then easily attach harnesses to it, right?
Right.
So this is more, I guess, just us complaining.
Pretty much.
Why they don't come with it. And we don't know any youth machines that come with 4-point harnesses from the factory. So if you do, drop a comment below. But as of 2023, I don't know of any.
Mm-mm.
And so it, as you can see how we feel about it is, should you upgrade the seatbelts in the Rzr 200 or any youth machine you have, and I would. I would, within months of getting it, or if not, as soon as you bought the machine. And it's just, because it's just not worth it. You don't know, unless you're just going to sit there and stare at your kid the entire time he's riding it. But these are kids. The moment they get out of eyesight, they're going to go crazy on
Try
it.
some things, yeah.
Exactly. They're going to try to cut some donuts. They're going to try to go up something off camber. And it doesn't have to be at high speeds. It can be a slow speed rollover and still break an arm. If their arm flops out, or if they slide out of their deal because there's so much movement that you can have on a 3-point harness. That's my issue with it. It's like, it's just not 4-point. You can somewhat keep them strapped in. And I know these don't come with big, safety nets on it that would keep their limbs in. But I think a 4-point harness would be the next step forward.
Yeah, that's like I said. That's our next thing we're going to get for it. So.
And it's not the speed. I mean, I don't want people to think these are super powerful and they shouldn't be driving them because they can't control them. It has nothing to do with that. I've just seen a lot with our kids driving, and we got like essentially 2 sets. We got our bigs and we got our littles. And boys will push the limit. One of my bigs now, when he was younger, he jumped his Rzr 170 to impress a girl and cracked the motor, cracked the transmission. So the impact was hard enough to do that. I mean,
was it worth it?
He didn't get the girl, so I don't know. But he lost his machine for months.
Oh, man.
So it just goes to show you, I mean, and I wasn't upset. I mean, coming back and told me the truth immediately. It's a lesson learned. We had insurance on it, covered the damage of the machine. So but it's one of those things where, we have 4-point harnesses in it. So, but it's at that additional cost, right? You're spending $6,400 on a machine. You don't want to have to spend, $200 for the harnesses, and then $200, if you get extra $400 just for safety. That takes away from being able to put RGB lighting on it, if someone's on a tight budget. Where
we won't get into is another safety issue. A little tiny brake light on the back there is hard to see, but anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's just our thoughts on it. If you are getting a Rzr 200 or thinking about getting a Rzr 200, I would highly suggest put some money aside, or as soon as you can, put some 4-point harnesses in there. It's just, hopefully give you a bigger peace of mind. Our kids rode with the 3-point for a little bit, but before we went on our big trip to West Virginia, I put 4-point harnesses in there. Because the reality is, if you're driving on a mountain, something can severely go wrong. And if the machine goes over the edge, the last thing I want is my kid's head or body flopping outside of it. At that point, I want them arms crossed inside and just hang on inside until the rolling stops. So, I know that's extreme examples, but, those are the things we think about, because the risk we run into in some places that are just super steep drop-offs with no trees to catch them. And so it's, I guess, that balance of being an adult and, want your teams to learn how to do dangerous stuff safely. So when they're actually out of your house and out from underneath your control, they're making good decisions. So those are our thoughts. Do you have any final thoughts for everybody?
No, get 4-point harnesses.
This might be the shortest
Wear a helmet.
podcast yet.
Be safe. Parent your kids. I don't know.
Thank you for watching another podcast, Trailkings podcast. Until next time, stay safe on the trails.